This is a groove played straight. Now this is the same groove played drunk. Hi, I'm Daniel. You're watching Thomann's Drum Bash, and today I will be talking about drunk drum grooves, what they are, where they originate from, an album that pushed them into popularity, and most importantly, how to play them. Let's get into it. Okay, so what is a drunk groove? Well, it's a groove that sounds drunk, for lack of better terms. It's more of a feeling than a specific technique, but one way you could theorize it is by looking at it as a quintuplet swing. Let's go into Ableton so I can show you what I mean. Alright, here we are in Ableton. So, the reason I have this brought up here is so I can illustrate to you the spacing in between the notes and what I mean by 16-note groove and a quintuplet swing groove. A 16-note groove is called a 16-note groove because the hi-hat is subdividing in 16 notes, meaning there are 4 hi-hat hits before 2. You can see that here. 1, E, and 2. 2, E, and 3. This is a very straightforward beat. Let's hear it in action. Great, now let's move on to the quintuplet groove. This is called a quintuplet groove or a quintuplet swung groove because there are 5 partials that happen in the span of a quarter note. Unlike a 16th note where there are 4 partials in a quarter note, this one has 1 extra note, and you can see that via the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on to the next quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's hear what this beat sounds like and count the hi-hats and the subdivisions as they go. Generally, I wouldn't play a beat like this slow, but now I'm going to show you how you can speed this up and emulate that drunk feel by using this theory. So, you already have a quintuplet grid right here in the sense of these 5-note groupings. 5 notes, 5 notes, 5 notes, 5 more notes. What you can do here is start taking out notes from those groupings. I'm just going to go for a random pattern. So I'm going to open this up and just start removing random notes. I'll take that one out, I'll take that one out. Let's take a listen to what we made. Okay, admittedly, very weird until you speed it up. So let's bump this up all the way up to 180 BPM and listen to how that hi-hat is interacting now with the kick and the snare. You can also even make it simpler. Say you take out more notes. So now you know, if you create a quintuplet grid and remove notes from that, you can get the really weird off-kilter feeling of a drunk beat. This works as well if you're doing a septuplet grid / swing, which is 7 notes, or a 9-tuplet. You can use any tuplet that you want as long as it's an odd number, because the odd numbers will always be uneven, and those are the ones that are going to feel off-kilter and drunk and weird. You can go as far into the math as you would like. You don't have to necessarily go as far as Jacob Collier when he's talking about swing percentages.
What's the swing percentage? All that stuff's really interesting. that's 50%. Like a 66% swing percentage, it's like, then you can get like 80%. Like 57 is a favorite of mine.
Much love to Jacob, of course, but sometimes that stuff can get a little bit overwhelming. If you don't want to think about the complex minutia of it all, you can just approach it with feel. After all, D'Angelo, one of the artists that was kind of known to have popularized this sound within his music, wasn't so much focused on the theory of it. He just told Questlove to use the force and play it drunk.
The musician community is going to laugh at me. And he's like, nah, man, trust me, like, use the force. He's used all these Star Wars analogies with me, like, use the force, man. And I'd never seen Star Wars, so.
Speaking of D'Angelo and Questlove, let's get into where these drunk beats originate. As technology evolved and the art of sampling became more and more prevalent throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, many producers impacted the world with this change of technology. A very popular producer/artist of the time was J Dilla. Alongside his own beat tapes and projects, he made music with Tribe Called Quest, Funkmaster Flex, Busta Rhymes, etc., pushing his sound into the mainstream. Since sampling is literally cutting a waveform and putting it in a different place to try to make something new, you would get a lot of really weird transitions, glitches, artifacts that you just wouldn't hear in music that was played on an instrument. This technological aspect of it gave this production and this music a feeling that no other music had before it. Given the popularity and the cultural movement around Dilla and other producers creating similar sounds, it's theorized that D'Angelo heard this music happening and wanted to recreate the feeling that he got from sampling, but with live instrumentation. The end result was a record called Voodoo. Released in 2000, it sold 320,000 copies in the first week, spent 33 weeks on the charts. It made a huge impact sonically and culturally. So if we fast forward from 2000 to today, we can see that lo-fi hip-hop and neo-soul are just a couple examples of genres that are pretty directly pulling from voodoo and other similar musical textures of that era. That type of music and that style of playing really inspires artists today to kind of break the norms of what people are used to hearing. What might not be considered correct to some musicians could actually be something really interesting just from the feeling it can derive. Questlove himself said that when he was diving into this weird off-kilter drunk style of playing that he was kind of concerned how the music community would take it and see his playing. But with enough time and focus spent on that specific goal of creating something off-kilter and unique, he actually found it to be very freeing in the end. That's pretty inspiring to me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you like this video by giving it a like. Hit subscribe for more videos like this one. I'm Daniel, you're watching Thomann's Drum Bash, and I will see you in the next one.